guys, I'm back another week. Um oh my gosh, I've missed so many vlogs. I've missed 32, 33. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be talking about week 32, week 33, and week 34. I'm currently in week 35. Um so for the last 3 weeks, so much has been going on. I went on a maternity tour for my second option hospital, and it was so nice. I really like the hospital. Like, it's really big. Um, they're really interactive with you and everything. They gave me the sheet to create this birth plan. I need to go sign that up. Um, and everything is just so nice there. Oh my gosh, like their postpartum room. I was trying to compare the postpartum rooms of both hospitals that I went to. So the first one I went to was St. Mary's Hospital Medical Center, and the second one I went to was Wellington Regional Medical Center. So St. Mary's is pretty good hospital. It's private, and they specialize in high risk pregnancies and all of that. Um, for their postpartum rooms, though, they were kind of on the smaller side. The only ones that were of a good size were the suite, the suite, and I think they had one other room. It might have been for handicapped patients, I think. I'm not sure, but those were like the only rooms that were big or of a decent size. But the regular postpartum rooms were small. Oh, it was serious. I thought about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna fit my family in there. So, when I went to Wellington Regional was actually really nice. Like, their postpartum rooms, the regular one, it was nice. They were telling me that basically, the regular one that they do for the postpartum comes with a queen size bed. So it's like enough for me and my husband to sleep or whatever. And then they have like the little incubator on the side for the baby and everything. I'll show you like little clips of the tour and everything as well, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So for that, it came out really nice for those postpartum rooms. Aside from those regular postpartum rooms, they also have, I guess, like, if there's extra traffic and those rooms fill up, they have another option, which is, I guess, like a regular standard room. And for that one, it's not a queen size bed; it's a regular size hospital bed, but it's still a good amount of it's a sufficient amount of space around the bed and everything. So it's not you in like a little box. You still have space. It has a little couch for family and an extra chair and everything. So you can work with that. Aside from those, they also had a handicap suite. And when I say that suite was huge, it was huge. Like, the bed was already a queen size bed like the other one. But the room itself was so spacious, and it had an extended living, not really living area, but an extended seating area or whatever. And the regular rooms with the other queen size beds had that extended sitting area as well. And I was so hyped about that, because in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, God forbid I'm here for more than 2 days. Like, this is perfect. When family comes over, they can either spend the night or whatever, if it's like my mom or my aunt or something, and there will be space. No one's sitting there like, oh, we'll just see you tomorrow morning or something. Like, they can just sleep over. So I was like truly happy about that or whatever. Aside from those, the hospital itself was nice. Wellington Regional was nice or whatever. They described to me like everything that they do as far as food, as far as like the different, I guess, like delivery options. They discussed that as well. Whether I want to do natural, whether I want to do C-section, if I wanted to get an epidural, all of that stuff they discuss with me and everything. And I have to also put that in my birthing plan, just to, make that clear to them as well when I reach there. Another thing that they did mention to me is that, I guess, like, I have the choice to decide whether I want to breastfeed the baby or formula feed him, all of that. So for me, I do want to breastfeed. I'm I'm really serious about trying to breastfeed and everything. So they were telling me that I have to make sure that I let the doctors know and the nurses know when he comes out, don't give him a bottle. And I prefer him not to receive a pacifier first. I want to breastfeed him first so that he gets used to that before he gets used to anything else. um, so they did let me know that as long as I initiate that and let the doctors and everyone know, they won't do it or whatever. And they'll make sure that they hold true to what I want done. So I was really happy about that. Aside from that, I for the last, I want to say for the last 2 weeks or so, week 32, week 33, and week 34, it's just been like regular stuff that I feel. My breasts are still leaking colostrum or whatever. The pelvic girdle pain actually it's not as bad right now. I don't it's kind of weird. It was so serious a couple weeks ago or like a month ago, and then now it's just like it calmed down a little bit. I still feel it or whatever every so often. Like if I sit or if I lay in a certain direction and try to get up in a certain position, yeah, I will still feel it, but it's not as terrible as it was like a month ago, where it was like just getting up I felt like crying because it was so painful. They claimed that it was like my ligaments stretching or something. I think that's what they were telling me. The doctor was telling me like it's my ligaments and like the muscles and everything else stretching causing all the pain. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll get used to it. Aside from that, I'm still on bed rest, hence why I'm in sleeping clothes and a bonnet. I've been trying to get as much rest as possible. I have one hand people like, oh my gosh, you're on bed rest, but you should still try to get up and walk around. And I'm looking at them like, nah. Because so far, every time that I've tried to get up and walk around for an extended period of time, I kind of end up screwed because I either experience like a lot of pain later once I sit down, or as I'm walking, the pressure gets like really serious where, he's leveling down there already. And, like my stomach starts to tighten up and I start to feel like this really, really tightening feeling, and then this pain I start to feel whatever. If I'm up for too long. So I've really been trying to filter how much I get up and everything. I've been trying to keep up on my rest. But for like I want to say like the last 2 weeks, as much as I want to rest and as much as I'm in bed, sometimes I'm not actually sleeping, and it sucks because I'm trying to get some sleep. I'm trying to, rest my body completely, but sleeping just seems like out of the option half the time. Like sleeping at night, no, I barely do that. Like I'll probably sleep for 2 hours, 3 hours max, and then I end up awake looking and oh my gosh, like bored all night and hungry. So I end up going to make something, whatever, like a late night snack or a late night meal, and I end up in bed just on my phone, eating, chilling, and then by morning time I'm just like, oh, I need to go to sleep, and then I'll probably catch like another hour or two of sleep, and then that's about it for me. According to my doctor and other people who've been pregnant that I've been speaking to, they're like, that's expected because sometimes the discomfort or whatever of the baby moving and the positioning, like my sleep positions as well, can contribute to how much sleep I get or how comfortable I am sleeping. And I think that may actually really be a factor. Like recently I've been sleeping on my right side because the TV, I usually watch the television at night sometimes, so the TV is located on my right hand side. So because of that, most of the time I'm sleeping on my right side, but then my doctor was like, it's usually best to sleep on my left side. It will be more comfortable for me to breathe, and it will, lower my blood pressure and everything to a more normal rate. So every so often I'll have to turn to my left side and, try to see if I can sleep in that direction and everything. But gravity seems to take over because I turn left and the baby decides to settle on my left hand side, and he's just there kicking me and pushing and everything, and then I'm like, okay, let me get up because sometimes it will, it will start to hurt a little bit. And then I turn on my right side, and he goes that direction, and he's just chilling, and it goes back to kicking and punching, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's serious. So as far as like movement, he's really active. Now that I'm further along in my pregnancy, um, he's active, but I can tell like there's not as much space for him to fully like do all this extraness or whatever. So his movement slows down every so often, and it will just be him turning or twisting, or I'll feel like a little leg, kick out or something, and it's kind of interesting. I feel like once I deliver, I'll probably miss that feeling at some point, even though it was uncomfortable. I'll probably miss it. Because just the idea of another your own flesh and blood growing inside of you, I feel like it's so cool, So I can tell that I'm definitely gonna, miss that feeling. Okay, this is nice. It's really nice. Yeah, the sign is really pretty. And then we're gonna go sit down now. Okay, let's enter this room.
This is one of the two rooms that's a little bit bigger. I just wanted you to see it. It is first come, first serve. If you come here and it's open, it is yours. We do not save it for anybody. However, if you're a C-section, you will never see this room.
Okay, ready? Right. Uh-huh. Okay.
Oh, hold on, guys. This way.
This is postpartum. Oh, look at the little family.
The other end.
Yeah. This is another.
This is a typical postpartum room. Anytime you're up walking around, baby must be in the crib. We don't let the baby co-sleep in the bed with you. They have to sleep in the crib. So, and that's for...
I just want to check it out really quick. So I can get a better view of everything.
She said this was 375.
No, she said for the pediatrician.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I got a little mini fridge.
Yeah.
A couch, little mini fridge. Bathroom.
Oh, this is nice. Okay, this is nice. Queen size bed for postpartum room.
210 to
Yeah.
Man, that suite at St. Mary's ain't got shit on this.
This is the postpartum room. Usually for handicapped patients or for overflow patients. It still has the queen size bed and the waiting area for family and everything else. Okay, let's go. This is nice. Yeah. And the bathroom. Bathroom is nice too. The basic room. Okay. So just in case they don't have space in the bigger rooms, this is where they put you, the basic room. Still has a nice little couch. And it has a lot of space and just a regular size hospital bed. And then we get out. Yeah. Okay. And a nice little chair here. Yeah. A little sink. And then we're heading out. And we're heading out. Okay. Oh, that's so cute. Little bunnies. We're heading to the NICU. You said I need to start filming it higher?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got the video at Newcastle now.
I'm sure. This is the NICU. Okay. This is the NICU. Aside from the hospital maternity tour, I've also had a baby shower. I was planning the baby shower, whatever, for some time. The baby shower, I initially started planning it months ago. But then my family and my friends were like, no, we're supposed to be planning it. We're supposed to be doing everything. Da, da, da. I was like, okay, no problem. You guys can do it then, whatever. But then within the last 2 weeks, it's like everyone started stressing and was like, oh my gosh, what colors do you like? What do you want to be your theme? And I was like, all of a sudden, everyone just waited last minute to ask me all these things. And I'm just like, what? I thought you guys had this. Like, I can't even lie. Like, I thought about it and I was like, I probably should have just told everyone, just surprise me. Like, I just want to show up as a guest and just be surprised. Because I felt like it just took so much time and so much energy, whatever, out of me to plan and, go into details about this and that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just want everything done. I don't even want to be asked anything. So we started planning whatever, like 2 weeks ago. We started looking into places to rent. Now, initially, I wanted to do an inside baby shower. That was my initial goal. I wanted to be inside. I wanted to make sure it was well air conditioned and everything. Have food, music, all of that. But then I thought about it, and a lot of places were charging like a lot of money. Like a lot of the halls were charging money. I think the cheapest one that I saw was like a hotel or something. It was a hotel, what do they call it? Event room, or I think that's what they would refer to it as, an event room. It seemed like a reasonable price and everything, but then I was just like, I'm not sure if I'm feeling it anymore. So when I say thank goodness I didn't go all out with a rental place or whatever, I am so happy I didn't, because the amount of guests compared to the amount of space was real. Last minute I ended up choosing a park in the community that I lived in before. I'm currently in West Palm Beach, but the rest of my family, most of my family is in Fort Lauderdale. That's where most of my guests were going to be coming from. So I was like, let me just choose so I told myself, let me choose a park down there where it will be easier for everyone to get to, and not as many excuses like, oh, it's too far. So I chose a park in Plantation. I got a little blessing in disguise. I was initially supposed to pay like $100 and something for the rental of the pavilion outside, but I ended up getting a discount and paying I think it was like $68 and change for it instead. I was so happy about that, because the rest of that money was used for decorations, which I ended up not even, when I actually like decorating the baby shower, whatever, on Sunday, I ended up not even using as many of the decorations as we bought. Like, I might have to return some of them or whatever. because I ended up just not being able to use them. And I was just like so surprised by that, because I was like, oh, I was stressing the whole time, like, oh my gosh, am I gonna have enough decorations? Like, is it gonna be okay? I sat there, invested it. I spent money to go create a centerpiece from this other DIY video I saw on YouTube, and I'm gonna show you a little clip of the centerpiece that I created, and I'm gonna be showing you some clips of the baby shower, how it turned out and everything. And I was just like stressing. I was so nervous and everything. But then by, I want to say like Saturday, by Saturday, I was just like, okay, you know what? Whatever. If it turns out good, it turns out good. If it turns out bad, it turns out bad. Either way, it will be done and over with. And I got my gifts, whatever, you know, it is what it is. Saturday night to Sunday morning, the day of, because my baby shower was on Sunday, that just passed, on the 22nd of October. During that time, like all the people, I guess, who I kind of already knew that they weren't going to come or already had other plans or whatever the case, messaged me, and you know, were like, okay, hey, we won't be able to make it, da da da. And I was okay, you know, it's fine. Like, if you're not able to make it, you're not able to make it. It is what it is. You know, I'll make do with whoever chooses to come. And so that's exactly what I did. Sunday, we reached the park. We set up everything. I had like my Bluetooth speaker that we just recently bought, and we had music going on. We ate some food. The food was so good. My mom cooked, and I love her cooking. So she cooked. So there was some good food there. You know, some music. We played some games, and it ended up being a good turnout. You know, it wasn't as I thought it would have been. You know, because I'm not going to sit here and lie. I thought it wasn't going to turn out that well because of how many people had canceled and everything. But by the end of everything, I actually enjoyed myself. You know, I was happy with the turnout. I was happy with who came. I was happy with how the games turned out and everything. And I was just like, hey, this was a good experience for me. I got some food, you know, got some nice cake. Oh, the cake was so good. And it was a perfect color too, because it was the exact cake that I was looking for. And I was just happy about, you know, the turnout with everything. Okay.
Don't go next to my child. Right there.
You think it's so hard?
He's like, no.
Perfect.
Which step of my child?
Okay. You know, that's about it for week 32 to 34. It's been a long journey, and you know, this week has been, or those weeks have been, you know, kind of rough, but it's okay. We have a couple more to go, and then we deliver. Yes.